Sullivan Center in Joliet, Illinois, getting us set for tip-off. The University of St. Francis takes on Trinity International University this afternoon. Welcome to the broadcast once again. Terry Bonadonna with you on the call today as the Fighting Saints try to bounce back from a defeat on Saturday against St. Xavier University that snapped a 3-game winning streak for them. Actually, it had been a 6-game conference winning streak for the Fighting Saints prior to that loss on Saturday. Chance for a fresh start today with E.J. Charles going against Brandon Lawani at center court. The tip is won by the Fighting Saints. In gold today, the Saints go from right to left here in the first half. Trinity is in black. They'll be moving from left to right to start things off as Aitor Anabadarte sets up the possession, and he's fouled away from the basket by Diamond Presniakovis, the leading scorer for Trinity International this year. Presniakovis is a senior from Plainfield, Illinois, so right down the street from here. E.J. Charles inbounds to Nadav Gerner. Fighting Saints are 7-4 in conference this year. They're 8-7 overall. Carter Fahey works to the left and passes to Darius Wright. Shot clock under 10. E.J. Charles sends it to the corner. Aitor Anabadarte misses short on the three-pointer. Rebound poked by Darius Wright and out of bounds. Anabadarte has been shooting more and more from the outside. He averages 2 3-point attempts per game, 38% for the season. That number will drop a little bit after the miss on his first shot today. And Trinity International will get a chance to score first. This is Keontae Thomas kicking it outside. To the top, it's Presniakovis missing long on the three. And the Fighting Saints leading rebounder, Aitor Anabadarte, grabs his first today. Nadav Gerner gives it to Carter Fahey. Fahey takes it inside. Carter Fahey off the glass, rolls it in. Fahey has really stepped up his game this season. Fifth-year senior for St. Francis. Fahey ranks second on the team in scoring, second in rebounds, and first in assists. We've got an offensive foul call on Xavier Cooper. Cooper created a little space for himself with a push-off, and he's called for his first foul, already the second called against the Trojans. Just over a minute into the action. St. Francis scored first. They look to extend their lead with Nadav Gerner, the junior point guard from Israel, leading the offensive possession. Anabadarte this time fakes the three, takes it inside and lays it in. Anabadarte missed on his first 3-point attempt, but he used the threat of that shot to his advantage on that last play with a nice fake and a drive. He's on the board with his first 2 points, and now he's on the stat sheet in another category as he picks up his first foul of the game. First foul against St. Francis this afternoon. Keontae Thomas will inbound for Trinity. Cooper passes off to Jack Cahoon. Cahoon lobs it in for Brandon Lawani. Lawani one-on-one with Anabadarte, blocked from behind and fouled by E.J. Charles as Lawani finishes the play underneath. Nice work by Brandon Lawani, and he can make this a 3-point play. First foul on E.J. Charles. Lawani is a 62% foul shooter, and he makes it a 3-point play. Lawani, a 10-point per game scorer, pulls his team to within 1 in the first couple of minutes of today's action. Full court trap for Trinity, but the Saints are able to beat it across the timeline. Lawani knocks that pass out of bounds. Gerner was looking for Fahey inside. 17 on the shot clock as E.J. Charles sets to inbound from the sideline. Here's Darius Wright, the Fighting Saints' leading scorer this season, averaging just over 15 points per game. Lob down low, Anabadarte. Little mismatch against Xavier Cooper, and he's able to lay it in. Aitor Anabadarte has his second field goal of the game, 4 points for him in the first few minutes, and Cooper answers on the other end, streaking to the hoop with the finger roll. Xavier Cooper has his first points. 1 point lead for St. Francis, who has led the whole way so far, just about 3 minutes in. Anabadarte no-look pass to the cutting Darius Wright, who lays it in. Good ball movement for the Fighting Saints so far today. Darius Wright has his first points, and Anabadarte has a block. E.J. Charles ahead for Darius Wright. Three-pointer. Off the back iron, rebound tipped around. Carter Fahey grabs it. In a sea of black shirts, he's blocked, and Trinity takes it away. There were 4 defenders surrounding him. Keontae Thomas on the other end lays it in and pulls the Trojans to within a point once again. Contact down low, no chance for a three-point play for Keontae Thomas. Both teams have been called for 2 fouls so far in this first half. Nadav Gerner wide open on the right side, misses the three-point attempt short, and Luani grabs the rebound. Nadav Gerner is a reluctant shooter. That was just his 12th three-point attempt of the season, but he couldn't have been more open. Three-pointer for Cahoon, and he knocks it down. There was a hand in Cahoon's face, but he's able to score anyway. And for the first time this afternoon, Trinity has a lead. It's 10-8 over St. Francis. Gerner is a 60% shooter this year, but averaging under 4 points per game. Again, does not shoot if he can help it. Darius Wright skies it over Gerner's head, out of bounds. A little bit too high on the pass. It's a turnover. And the Saints go to their bench as Justin Phillips comes on for the first time. Rayhana Maxwell Topia and Louis McGlasson join him on the floor as E.J. Charles, Aitor Anabadarte, and Nadav Gerner head to the sideline for the Fighting Saints. 15:55 to play. Trinity has made a substitution as well. Jaden Thomas, sophomore guard from Indianapolis, is on the floor for the first time, wearing number 4. That's deflected out of bounds, last touched by the Trojans. It'll be Saints basketball. Hot start offensively for St. Francis, but they've come up empty on their last 3 possessions now. Trinity has scored the last 5 points. Phillips' pass is poked away by Jack Cahoon. On the other end, Cahoon lays it in. 5 points for the junior Jack Cahoon. Trinity leads by 4. Justin Phillips bounces to Rayhana Maxwell Topia. The junior from New Zealand takes it inside the paint, and he's called for the travel. The offense is off its game right now. That's 5 consecutive possessions in which the Fighting Saints have been held off the scoreboard. They've turned it over now on back-to-back trips down the floor. And Trinity has been hotting up. They've got 7 points unanswered and their biggest lead at 4. Saints also led by 4 early on. Cahoon somehow holds on to the ball but misses the reverse layup. And the rebound goes to the Saints. Darius Wright on the wing. 2 points so far in the game for him. Cross court, Louis McGlasson for 3. Can't get the Saints back on the board. Xavier Cooper grabs the rebound. Ahead for Cahoon, and Cahoon lays it in. Nice body control by Jack Cahoon. That pass was a little bit out in front of him. I don't think he was ready for it, but he adjusted, pulled it in, and was completely in control as he laid that in. Phillips is trapped. Looking for help. He'll find it on the sideline as he calls timeout. 13 seconds on the shot clock. 14:15 to go in the first half. Trinity International has a 9-0 run and a 14-8 lead over St. Francis. Trojans have been able to turn defense into offense, something that they are awfully good at. They're among the top 5 teams nationally in steals per game. They average 11 of them. Really impressive number. And they have forced their opposition to commit over 17 turnovers per game this year. So that's certainly a focal point for St. Francis today. And it has not been one that they've succeeded in these last few minutes. Same 5 on the floor for the Saints coming out of the timeout. Louis McGlasson will be the inbounder. Again, 13 to shoot. McGlasson inbounds to Maxwell Topia. Handoff back to McGlasson. Three-point attempt from the top, off the mark. They've turned it over a few times here. They've also gotten some shots that they've liked as Cooper streaks to the hoop, misses, and it's rolled in on the second chance. Tip-in is there for Trinity. I didn't even see who got his hand on that one last. But the Trojans' run is now 11-0. Lewis McGlasson has now missed 2 3-pointers. He's one of the stalwart three-point shooters on the team, and he's gotten good looks. They haven't gone for him. So St. Francis looking for answers elsewhere right now. Rihanna Maxwell Topia with the shot clock under 10. It's Carter Fahey in a double team. Fahey dribbles around, fires inside to Darius Wright, who has it stripped by Cooper out of bounds. With 2 on the shot clock, it'll remain in St. Francis's possession. Aitor Anabararte is coming back in for St. Francis, joined by Casimir Ochiaka. Fahey and Maxwell Topia head out. Phillips is the inbounder. Saints need a quick shot. Into Ochiaka, back to Phillips, who did not get it off on time. Casimir Ochiaka just checked in and obviously was not keeping fully abreast of the game situation. He did not recognize there were only 2 seconds to shoot there. So the Saints turn it over once again. Trinity basketball already doubling up St. Francis, and a chance to add more from the free throw line as Aitor Anabararte picks up his second foul. It's a big number 2 on Anabararte, who averages 14 points and a team leading 7.5 rebounds per game. Actually, check that. I got the call wrong. It goes against Trinity. So this is St. Francis ball. The whistle blew there on the drive from Jaden Thomas. I think they got Thomas for the charge. Foul on the defense of Trinity now. And that one is on Jack Cahoon. So he checks out. Diamond Presniakovis is back in. Ryan Marks tries to set something up for St. Francis, who led 8-5, but now find themselves behind 18-8. Justin Phillips pulls up from the elbow. His jumper is good. That breaks out of the St. Francis funk. The 13-0 run for Trinity International is over. Thomas gives it up down low. And that's Nabil Kone, who is able to finish off for his first 2 points of the game. 20-10. Nabil Kone just checked in, already on the score sheet. As Darius Wright, who's been out there the entire time so far, is tripped up. Not in the act of shooting, I don't think. Jaden Thomas is called for foul. It did call it a shooting foul. So Wright is at the line for 2 shots here. 12.5 minutes to go in the first half. Good run for Trinity International. 15-2, they've outscored St. Francis since early on. But Darius Wright pulls the Saints a little bit closer with the first free throw. He's got 3 points. Wright's an 82% foul shooter. Tyler Irvin comes in for Casimir Ochiaka as Ryan Marks shuffles up the lineup, trying to find some answers after a slow start. Jake Carley is in for the shooter after Darius Wright pulled his point total up to 4. 8-point lead for the Trojans. Jaden Thomas and Keontae Thomas work the backcourt for Trinity. This is Keontae spinning around Justin Phillips, blocked by Phillips, and a foul is called on Justin Phillips. Keontae Thomas is going to the line. First foul on Phillips. Third on the team. First free throw is good for Keontae Thomas. Thomas is a sophomore. Averages 12 points per game, which is second best on the team. 1 of 2 from the free throw line. He's got 5 points this afternoon. He puts Trinity ahead by 9. Carly gets it out of the trap and gives it to Anabadarte. The Saints are able to set up their offense. Carly into a cutting Lewis McGlasson, poked away by Cooper. The ball is loose and grabbed by Kyler. Carly sets up Aitor Anabadarte, and Anabadarte knocks down the 3. Second three-point attempt of the game for Aitor Anabadarte. He knocks this one down as Presniakovis misses down low. The rebound tapped out of bounds by Trinity. Saints are getting the offense going once again as they've cut the deficit down to 6. Able to score off of a near turnover on the last possession. Trinity knocked the ball away, but heads up offense from Jake Carly. He kept it alive and set up Aitor Anabadarte. Here's Carly down low to Tyler Irvin. Irvin bounces to Carly. Layup is good. Jaden Thomas came over to try to block it, but Jake Carly is able to finish anyway off a nice pass from Tyler Irvin. There's Brandon Lawani. Lawani up with the right hand and in. Trinity is once again this year one of the top offensive teams in the CCAC. They always seem to be. And they're on pace for over 100 in this game so far. They average 82 points per game on the season. Anabadarte backs in on Lawani into a double team. He travels. I don't think he was expecting the help defense from Diamond Presniakovis there. Threw him for a loop, and the Saints turn it over. Six-point advantage for Trinity. They were up by double digits a few moments ago. Foul called away from the ball here. And this will go on Aitor Anabadarte. I thought he had picked up his second foul earlier. I was wrong about that call, but this is number 2 on him now. 4th on the team. And that gets Ben Kreitz off the bench here. Anabadarte heads out. Ryan Marks is going deep into his bench here in the first half. We've already seen Kreitz, Irvin, Carly. They're all on the floor right now. Ochiaka, Maxwell Topia. Lewis McGlasson is on the floor right now as well, along with Justin Phillips as Thomas flies to the hoop and slams it in with the right hand. Jaden Thomas picks up a big bucket, his second of the game. It's an 8-point lead for the visitors. Good move, Justin Phillips. Shovels it off to Carly, who saves it and knocks it off the foot of Cahoon out of bounds. Still Saints ball, 15 seconds to shoot. McGlasson calls timeout. Second time in this first half that the Fighting Saints have been forced to call a timeout because of the tough defense of Trinity International. Trojans defense as active as advertised. This is a team that is primarily known for their offense, not their defense. But their defense, even though they give up a lot of points, forces a lot of turnovers because they play so aggressively. It's a fast-moving team. On either side of the floor, Trinity likes to pick up the pace. And they have certainly dictated the tempo of this one so far. High-scoring start. Trojans find themselves on top by 8 as Lewis McGlasson sets himself for the inbounds pass. Into Carly down in the corner. Carly crosses over out to Lewis McGlasson. Ben Kreitz thought about the 3, steps in, 2 on the shot clock. Phillips hoists up a long 3, no good. Rebound Keontae Thomas. Quick shot misses from Cahoon. Offensive rebound, another chance from the outside. Thomas misses, and Kreitz grabs the rebound. Door left open for the Saints to gain some ground, but McGlasson misses another three. Lewis McGlasson this year has shot from three-point range at 36%. Today, though, he's 0 for 3. Keontae Thomas is fouled, not able to finish, but Justin Phillips sends Keontae Thomas to the free throw line. Thomas is 1 of 2 from the line so far today. .67% shooter for the year. Makes the first. One of 5 players on this team averaging double figures in conference play. Or 4 players averaging double figures overall. Carter Fahey and Nadav Gerner are back on the floor for St. Francis. This is a Trinity team that ranks 2nd in the conference in scoring despite nobody on the team averaging more than 12 points per game. Got a lot of options, Thomas being one of them. He's got 7 points to help Trinity to a 10-point advantage. McGlasson wide open again, and this time he knocks it down. In and out, and back in again. Lewis McGlasson is on the board, his first points, and the Saints are within 7. A big 3 right there as Trinity tried to pull away a little. Here's Lawani driving on Carter Fahey, pulls up and banks it in. Brandon Lawani has been impressive in this first half. He's got 9 points already. Check that, 7 points for Lawani. Trying to add more right here as he's got the steal, and there's points 8 and 9. Lawani goes end to end off the steal, and the lead is back up to 11 for Trinity International. Carley for 3, short. Rebound is pulled in by Jaden Thomas. Thomas can't keep it in bounds though. Knocked away, Thomas touched it last. St. Francis ball on the sideline. Fighting Saints started well. Saw Trinity go on a 13-0 run. They've played pretty even since then as it's inbounded to Ben Kreitz on the sideline. Knocked away from Gerner and stolen. Xavier Cooper lays it in. Trinity just stuck with it. It was Gerner against 2 Trinity players, and the Trojans were able to come up with the steal and turned it into 2 points. Points off of turnovers, that has been the key for Trinity International in this first half as they have taken their largest lead of the game so far at 13 points. 33-20 now with just over 8 minutes to play in the half. St. Francis takes a full timeout. Ryan Marks talked before the game today about some of his keys to the game, and so far not going exactly the way he would want it to. Minimizing turnovers is the big one to circle right there. They haven't been able to do it. Trinity International has not only been forcing turnovers, they've been scoring off those turnovers. 7 takeaways for Trinity so far today. Transition defense would be the other part of that. Again, they're forcing the turnovers and they're scoring off of those turnovers, and then energy off the bench for St. Francis, at least for the first few minutes of today's game, hasn't, well, I shouldn't say the energy hasn't been what they've wanted it to be, but the production hasn't. Once the Saints went to their second unit, Trinity was able to go on a nice little run. So far, so good for the Trojans. 10 points off of the Saints' 7 turnovers. They've outscored St. Francis 10-2 in that category so far today. Saints basketball out of the timeout. It's Nadav Gerner passing up top to Kreitz, around to the right side, nearly another takeaway. Carter Fahey bounces it a few times, takes it inside. Fahey dishes off to McGlasson, but it's knocked away and stolen. McGlasson stuck with it even after the Saints lost the ball. He ends up deflecting it out of bounds. It'll still be Trinity International's possession. Starters coming back on for the Fighting Saints. Aitor Anabadarte picked up 2 early fouls. But Ryan Marks is going back to him with 7.5 minutes to play in the half. Darius Wright returns to the floor as well. Xavier Cooper down in the corner working against Nadav Gerner. Good crossover. Cooper lays it in wide open. He made a beautiful move to get around Gerner and then had nobody there to stop him. Nadav Gerner is fouled by Xavier Cooper. Cooper got a little bit too handsy, far from the basket. And E.J. Charles returns to action for St. Francis as Cooper picks up his second foul. He has to check out. Keontae Thomas is back out there. First time we've seen E.J. Charles in about 9 minutes of game action. 5 starters are now back on the floor for the Fighting Saints. Bounced to Nadav Gerner, who lays it in. Aitor Anabadarte picks up the assist. A good cut from Gerner and a good pass. And Nadav Gerner was all alone underneath the hoop there. First points for Gerner. Diamond Presniakovis answers with the right hand on the other end. 15-point lead for Trinity. A lot of time left still in the first half. Saints will try to make a run before the break. Here's Darius Wright. Step back 3-pointer. Couldn't get it. Offensive rebound, E.J. Charles. He puts it back up and draws the foul. Darius Wright had a mismatch there on the senior forward Asher Bloom. Wright had Bloom on roller skates. Got himself set up for a 3-point attempt. Didn't go, but it did set up the second chance for E.J. Charles as Diamond Presniakovis picks up his second foul. Charles 58% from the line, makes the first. Brandon Lawani back on the floor. Presniakovis with 2 fouls, may be done for the half, we'll see. Free throw is good from E.J. Charles. His first 2 points of the game. 37-24 is our score. 16-7. St. Francis has been outscored since they pulled within 4. Thomas, jumper, no good. Rebounded by Charles. He's picked up a couple of rebounds since re-entering the game just a minute ago. Now Charles tries for 3 more points and has them. Charles checked into the game about 1 minute and 15 seconds ago, and during that time he's got 5 points and a pair of rebounds. Jack Cahoon spins inside and gets the roll. It bounced a couple of times on the rim, but Cahoon got the friendly rim there. 39-27 is our score. Carter Fahey has it knocked away. A steal for Keontae Thomas. Flipped back to Jack Cahoon, who steps into a 3-pointer and misses it long. Here's Nadav Gerner for the Saints. Darius Wright, corner 3, wide open off the side of the backboard. He's able to track it down and keep the possession alive. Fahey from the top of the key. He's off on the 3, another offensive rebound. Darius Wright, third chance. Scores with the right hand. Darius Wright has 6 points. That's what's keeping the Saints in it right now. Points off turnovers have been huge for Trinity. For the Fighting Saints, it's been second chance points as they pick up another offensive rebound. This is Brandon Lawani. Lawani, turnaround, fadeaway jumper misses. Rebound Darius Wright. Aitor Anabadarte lays it up, misses, and draws the foul. Timeout called by Trinity International with 4:31 to play. 39-29 is our score. Monte Lambert picked up the foul just prior to the break. And so Aitor Anabadarte will get 2 free throws coming out of this timeout. Anabadarte is a good free throw shooter. St. Francis, a good free throw shooting team. And they are in the bonus for the rest of the first half. Fighting Saints have not missed on a free throw yet today. Saints have trailed by as many as 15 points. Their biggest lead was 4. That was back when it was 4-0. Saints looked good over the first few minutes. But Trinity International, after trailing 8-5, went on a 13-0 run. They have not looked back since then. Saints pulled within 4 at 21-17, but Trinity pulled away again after that. So they've got the 10-point advantage right now, led by Brandon Lawani and Jack Cahoon, who have combined for 20 points early on. 2 of them are 9 of 13 combined from the field. Trinity International as a team is shooting 63%. The vast majority of that damage having come from inside the 3-point line. Trojans are a good shooting team. I don't think you can expect them to shoot 63% for the entire game, but they do put up good numbers generally. As I mentioned before, one of the highest scoring teams in the conference once again this year. Aitor Anabadarte leads the Fighting Saints with 7 points so far this afternoon. We'll try to add to that from the line, and he makes the first. 80% foul shooter. Just 1 of 2 on this trip, and the rebound is grabbed by Lawani, but immediately taken out of his hands by E.J. Charles. Charles is able to score despite the contact, and he'll go to the line to try to make it a 3-point play. St. Francis takes a page out of the Trinity International playbook with the takeaway. Scoring off the turnover, E.J. Charles is 3 for 3 from the line today. And Charles now has 8 points. He has not missed. 2 for 2 from the field, 3 of 3 from the line. 39-33. Fighting Saints have scored the last 6 points. They're on an 11-2 run ever since they fell behind by a game-high 15. And now the Saints will try to force another turnover as they put the full-court press on Keontae Thomas. Nadav Gerner shadows him down the floor. In the corner, a turnover for Trinity International as Jaden Thomas stepped down the brown line. (39-33), just over 4 minutes to play in the first half. Fighting Saints were down by 15 with 6.5 minutes to go as Nadav Gerner turns it over and then commits the foul on Jack Cahoon. First on Gerner, it's the 6th on the team. So the Saints have hit their limit. This will not send Trinity to the line. The next one would. Whistle blows. I don't think the clock was running. The shot clock is still at 30 seconds right now. I think it should have been reset to 20 after that foul in the first place. So they'll fix the clock issue, and then it'll go back to Trinity International. Trojans lead by 6. They've turned it over 4 times now, but forced 10 turnovers. Points off turnovers currently 12-5 in favor of Trinity. The shot clock was correct in resetting to 30 after the foul, but it didn't run, so it's at 26 now as we get moving again. Jaden Thomas kicks it out to Brandon Lawani. Snuffed out by St. Francis. Back up top. Thomas around Gerner. Jumper is good. Jaden Thomas adds 2 more to his total as Trinity extends its lead to 8. Final 3.5 minutes of the first half. Nadav Gerner looks around, finds Fahey at the top, 10 to shoot. Carter Fahey drives with the left hand. Fahey is blocked by Brandon Lawani. Kone grabs the loose ball, and Trinity sets up the offense. Three-pointer Lawani is good. A quick 5 in a row for the Trojans. And after the Saints had turned a 15-point deficit into a 6-point game, they're back down by double digits, 44-33. Gerner lobs it in for E.J. Charles. Charles is fouled, and he's headed back to the line. Strong first half today for E.J. Charles, who has 8 points in just 8 minutes played. He'll try to keep his perfect shooting day intact from the line. Jaden Thomas picks up his second foul of the game. Charles makes the first free throw. Just a 58% foul shooter, but he's 4 for 4 today. Justin Phillips comes in for Gerner. Charles makes another. Saints are doing their best to stick around in this game. 10 points for E.J. Charles. Keontae Thomas sets it up for Trinity. Thomas along the near sideline. Looks for the cutter, finds Jack Cahoon out on the wing. Lawani, three-pointer. Off the back iron, rebounded by Cahoon. Trojans are just 2 of 7 from three-point range so far today. Keontae Thomas misses a jumper. That's a rare miss from inside the arc. Foul called on Trinity, and more free throws coming up for E.J. Charles. They're just 2 of 7 from three-point range, but they're 17 of 24 from two-point range. St. Francis is shooting well from the line, although E.J. Charles misses this one. They're now 8 of 10 on free throws today. That's the first miss of the game for Charles, who leads the Fighting Saints with 10 points so far. Number 11 makes it an 8-point deficit. Aaron Sufer makes his first appearance today. Nabil Kone is on the bench. Sufer weaves it around to Thomas. Thomas stops the weave, kicks it outside to Lawani. Brandon Lawani takes it inside, dishes, ball loose, poked up in the air to Keontae Thomas. Nice job by Asher Bloom to stick with it. Three-pointer Thomas, no good. Offensive rebound, and Sufer is fouled by Darius Wright. Aaron Sufer will go to the line. These are Aaron Sufer's first free throw attempts of the season, so 1 and 1. And he makes the first, so he'll get a second. Trying to pull that Trojans lead back to double figures. He does not, but it's another offensive rebound. This one chased down by Cahoon. Here's Lawani against Charles, fouled from behind by E.J. Charles. And Brandon Lawani goes to the line.
St. Francis foul number 13. E.J. Charles, his second, team 10.
Lawani makes the first. 13 points for Brandon Lawani. He's one of 2 Trojans in double digits right now. Jack Cahoon has scored 11 points. Trojans continue to shoot the ball well. They're at 59% from the field. Six of 8 from the free throw line. Lawani hasn't missed on either of his 2 attempts. Now he's 3 for 3. Under 100 seconds to play in the half. St. Francis is trying to make it a manageable comeback. Darius Wright around a screen to the left, kicks it into the corner. Charles for 3. Off the mark, and the rebound goes to Lawani. Charles was feeling it earlier. That's his first miss from the field today, but he's now missed 2 shots in total after clanking the free throw on the last possession. Bloom against Anabadarte. Asher Bloom banks it in. 16-point game. We'll make that a 13-point game. Biggest lead for Trinity has been 15. And they're pushing ever closer to that again. Lawani fouls Aitor Anabadarte. Second foul on Brandon Lawani. And the Saints junior center goes to the line for 2 shots. St. Francis is in the double bonus. Substitution confusion here because it is 2 shots. I'll wait till after the first before Nabil Kone can check in. And Anabadarte makes the first free throw. He's 2 of 3 from the line today. Nadav Gerner in for Phillips for the Saints. Two for 2. Anabadarte is up to 10 points. He and E.J. Charles have both surpassed that landmark. Probably the final possession of the half for Trinity International here, so they'll try to make it count. This will be a big stop for St. Francis if they can get it. Asher Bloom sends it to the corner. 3-pointer for Cahoon is on the money. Big first half, Jack Cahoon. And Trinity's lead is 14. Shot clock off for St. Francis. Nadav Gerner tries to spin around Keontae Thomas. Kicks it out to Darius Wright, who fires the 3. That misses short. And on the rebound attempt, E.J. Charles is fouled. 2.8 on the clock. Second foul on Jack Cahoon. A lot of Trinity players have at least 2 right now. Charles makes his first free throw. E.J. Charles is 7 of 8 from the line today. This is already his 9th free throw attempt. It doesn't count. Saints are trying to make a substitution. With 2.8 on the clock, Trinity has no time for much of anything other than a desperation heave. Charles misses the second free throw. Battle for the loose ball is won by Trinity. And it's halftime. Clock wasn't running, but the officials rule that 2.8 seconds did indeed go by. And so it's halftime. Trinity led by as many as 15. Saints came from behind, cut the deficit down to 6 and at one point even 4, but weren't able to take that next step as Trinity ends the half on a run. So the Fighting Saints will have their work cut out for them in the last 20 minutes of today's game. They trail their conference rivals from up north just a little bit. 52-39, Trinity International has the lead. I'll step aside during halftime, back in about 15 minutes We'll get you second half action here. The Trojans lead the Saints in an afternoon contest by 13 at the half. 52-39, Trinity International leads St. Francis at halftime here in Joliet. Terry Bonadonna with you for another 20 minutes of basketballs. The Saints look to clean things up a little bit in the second half. They had a little bit of a problem with turnovers during that first segment of the game. They turned it over 10 times, and Trinity turned that into 14 points, and there's one of the major differences in the game. Trinity also shot the ball extremely well, particularly from inside the three-point line. They went 18 of 25 on two-point shots in the first half, 62% overall, 3 of 9 from three-point range. The Saints did not do terribly offensively, 44% from the field. They did not shoot the three-pointers well, 3 of 16 from three-point range, but St. Francis actually with 39 points in the first half are on a better pace than their season average in terms of scoring. Trinity, though, obviously on pace right now to surpass the century mark, and that's where the Fighting Saints will need to clean things up in the second half. Individual leaders for St. Francis, E.J. Charles had 12 points, 7 of 9 from the free throw line. The big stat for him. He also had 5 rebounds. Both of those numbers led the way for the Fighting Saints in the first half. Aitorana Badarte also played well with 10 points in the first half. Trinity was led by Jack Cahoon and Brandon Lawani, who had a combined 28 points. Each of them scored 14. They went 11 of 16 from the field between the two of them. Trinity basketball going from right to left to start the second half. Trojans' largest lead of the game so far has been 15. They can match or surpass that on this opening possession of the second half. Three-pointer for Xavier Cooper misses short. Rebound tapped into the hands of Darius Wright. So Trinity continues to have some trouble from the outside. They've been dominant on the inside as Darius Wright fires a three-pointer and misses. And St. Francis continues to struggle from the outside as well. Fighting Saints are 9 for 11 on two-point shots today. The foul is called on Trinity International. The charge leads to a turnover, and that's foul number 3 on Diamond Presniakovis. And that is a major issue for Greg Miller's squad right now, something to look out for. Presniakovis has 3 fouls. Cahoon, Lawani, Cooper, and Jaden Thomas all have 2 fouls for the Trojans. Out of bounds on the Fighting Saints. Charles's pass towards Darius Wright was deflected by Presniakovis, but it hit the fingertips of Darius Wright before going out. So the Saints cough it up. Each team now has a missed three-pointer and a turnover on their first 2 possessions of the half. Keontae Thomas drives, and a blocking foul called on Darius Wright, as Thomas's shot can't quite stay down.
St. Francis foul number 55, Darius.
Free throws here for Thomas.
Team's first of the second half.
Keontae Thomas scored 5 points in the first half. 3 of them did come from the free throw line. And now back for 2 more attempts. Second foul on Darius Wright. Thomas misses the first free throw. He's 3 of 5 from the line today. Thomas goes 1 for 2. He's got 6 points. The lead is up to 14 for Trinity, and Adav Gerner turns it over. He took a misstep, and he's called for the travel. So the Saints, who struggled on the defensive end in the first half and had spells of trouble on the offensive side as well, really are out of their rhythm to start the second half offensively. Already their second turnover of the second half. They've turned it over 12 times today. They averaged 13 per game this year. Cooper comes up short on the layup, blocked by the bottom of the rim. St. Francis gets a stop. Here's Gerner working hard against Cooper. He gives it up to E.J. Charles, and Charles is fouled by Cooper. Cooper's a very aggressive defender. It served him well at times in today's game, but he's committed 3 fouls now, and 2 of them have come a long way from the basket. And now he has to leave, and Jaden Thomas comes in. Xavier Cooper sits down with 3 fouls, 6 points. Aitor Anabadarte at the free throw line, bounces down low to Carter Fahey. That's somebody the Saints would love to get going today. Fahey gives it up to Anabadarte. Anabadarte in traffic down low, misses, grabs his own rebound, misses again. Another rebound, and this time he's fouled. So Aitor Anabadarte working hard underneath the basket, gets himself to the free throw line. 8 offensive rebounds in the game now for St. Francis. And as Anabadarte hits the free throw, they've now got 6 second chance points. Aitor Anabadarte is an 80% foul shooter, exactly 84-100 on the season. Really easy to calculate. Now it's harder as he's 81 for 101. He makes them both, 12-point game. Anabadarte's got 12 points. Match E.J. Charles for the team lead. Cahoon down into the post to Presniakovis. Diamond Presniakovis turns around and banks it in. Here's Carter Fahey, 14-point deficit. Fahey backs in. Fahey bounces to Darius Wright, who lays it in from behind. Nice play by Darius Wright, who's got 8 points now. Saints have got the offense going once again. They're rediscovering that rhythm, and now they'll look for a few stops to get themselves back in it. Presniakovis is fouled by Carter Fahey. No shot. Foul on the floor on Carter Fahey. First foul on Fahey. Deontay Thomas lobs it in to Jaden Thomas, and Thomas sets it up. Drive on Gerner, floater misses off the back rim, fight for the rebound. Anabadarte falls to the ground as we get a tie-up. Possession arrow to St. Francis. He worked hard for that one, and the Saints get a possession out of it. 17.5 minutes still to play in this game. Trinity led by 13 at halftime. It's 12 right now. 15 is their biggest lead of the game. St. Francis, even after trailing by 15, has cut it as small as 6 as Wright throws it away. Looking for Gerner. The pass was a little bit too far out in front of him. And it's another St. Francis turnover, so they've hit their season average now with 13 turnovers in the game, and we've still got more than 17 minutes to play. Jaden Thomas drives around Gerner and lays it in from the left side. Gerner passes to the cutting Anabadarte, who's fouled and finishes. Aitor Anabadarte and E.J. Charles today have both done an exceptional job of getting themselves to the line. And every time in this game that the Saints have made a point of getting it inside, they have had massive success. They're 11 of 15 shooting from inside the three-point line. And they're now 15 of 18 on free throws. Aitor Anabadarte has 15 points. Came into play today averaging 13 per game for the season. Foul is called on the floor against St. Francis. Second foul on Nadav Gerner, number 3 on the Fighting Saints. There's Jaden Thomas on the baseline. He stepped on the line. So another turnover for Trinity. Number 6 for them. St. Francis can cut it to single digits here. Carter Fahey drives the baseline, who lays it up and in. Second bucket of the game for Carter Fahey, and a big one to pull St. Francis within 9, 57-48. Jaden Thomas is fouled on the floor. Nadav Gerner is called for his third.
Foul called on number 4, Nadav Garner, his third, team's fourth.
Fourth on the team. St. Francis has 4 players with 2 fouls and now 1 with 3. Trinity's already got 4 players with 3 fouls. A few more with 2 as E.J. Charles knocks the ball in the air. It's stolen by St. Francis. Fahey ahead for Charles, and E.J. Charles is fouled. Fouls aplenty in this game. Charles is going back to the line. Both teams have been called for a lot of fouls, but Trinity has sent St. Francis to the line a lot more frequently. These will be the 19th and 20th foul shots of the game for St. Francis. Trinity's taken 11 of them. Diamond Presniakovis is Trinity International's leading scorer this year. He's got 4 fouls now, so he may not be a big factor here in the second half as he checks out and Asher Bloom comes on. Charles is 8 of 10 from the line today, and he makes his 9th free throw. 2 for 2 on that trip. He's got 14 points, most of them on free throws. Timeout called by Trinity International. 16 minutes to play in the game. 57-50, Trinity has the lead. They have been outscored by St. Francis 11-5 so far in the second half, and again, it's come largely at the free throw line. 5 for 5 from the line so far this half. Trinity is just 1 for 2. And it's going to be a storyline throughout the rest of this game. Trinity is in a lot of foul trouble. Diamond Presniakovis has 4. Brandon Lawani has 3. Xavier Cooper has 3. Jaden Thomas has committed 2 fouls. Jack Cahoon has committed 2 as well. With 16 minutes remaining, you don't worry too much about a player who's committed 2, but could become a problem very quickly as Greg Miller tries to get his team's offense back on track. They shot 60% from the field in the first half. So far in the second, they are just 2 of 6, and they've turned it over a couple of times as well. St. Francis seems to have the momentum right now, although you'll take points any way you could get them. Nobody's going to complain about free throws, but you don't quite get the same energy boost, I don't think, when you're cutting into a lead from the foul line. They trailed by 15, cut it down to 6. The lead went back up to 14 for Trinity International, and now it's down to 7. Since leading for the first 3 or 4 minutes of the game, St. Francis has trailed for over 20 minutes consecutively now. During that time, they've been as close as 4, but never closer than that. Drive from Jaden Thomas. Thomas throws it off the glass and misses. Rebound Aitor Anabadarte. That's his 6th. And St. Francis, down by 7, can cut deeper into the deficit now. Justin Phillips, open look, knocks down the 3. Just the 4th made three-pointer of the day for St. Francis. Justin Phillips has 5 points, and the Saints are again within 4. This is as close as it's been since it was 21-17. Already 14 points on the board this half for the Fighting Saints. Thomas dribbles it off the foot of Darius Wright, and it kicks out of bounds. It'll stay with Trinity. Cahoon backs it up. Keontae Thomas pull up from just inside the three-point line off the side iron, no good. 7th rebound of the game, Anabadarte. St. Francis can pull within 1 score here. Wright bounces down low to E.J. Charles. Charles tries to get it back out to Wright, but he lost the handle on it, and it's taken away by Trinity. Nice move by Nabil Kone, who gets inside and lays it in. What a turnaround right there. St. Francis's bench calling for the travel. But it's back to a 6-point lead for Trinity as Carter Fahey is fouled. 59-53, already foul number 6 on Trinity. So the Saints will be shooting free throws the rest of the way. Fahey down the baseline in traffic. He's fouled. And Carter Fahey's going to the line. But when you play as aggressively defensively as Trinity does, you're going to get called for a fair amount of fouls. On average this season, Trinity commits about 2.5 more fouls per game than their opponents. Today they've committed 7 more than St. Francis. Carter Fahey hits the first free throw. But fouls are a huge problem for the Trojans right now. 3 players have 3, 1 has 4, 2 more have 2. Fahey converts on both of them. And the Saints are back within 4. 6 points for Carter Fahey, the senior who came in averaging over 14 a games. We just saw Brandon Lawani back on the floor. Lawani had to sit down with his 3rd foul. When he's been out there, he's been a big-time performer for Trinity today, but has only been able to play 17 minutes because of those fouls. Jaden Thomas blocked out of bounds by Justin Phillips. .15 on the shot clock. The Trojans will inbound it again. Into Asher Bloom, who passes around to Jaden Thomas. Bloom up with the left hand. He got the roll. Came up a little bit short. Almost looked like that ball left from his palm as opposed from his fingers. But he was able to get a nice touch off the front iron and roll it through. Asher Bloom has 4 points. Aitor Anabadarte along the baseline, gives it up to Darius Wright, and Wright lays it in. Darius Wright's into double figures, the 3rd Saint to make that claim. He's got 10 points. We've got a close one developing here as we approach the midway point of the second half. Bloom shovels it off down low. Lawani is blocked by Charles, gets it back, and he's fouled on the rebound. And the foul is called on Aitor Anabadarte. He becomes the first Saint to pick up his 3rd foul. He was called for his 2nd a long time ago. He's been playing with 2 fouls for quite a while. But this time he'll sit down with 3 as Ben Kreitz checks in. Came in and got into Brandon Lawani's space. Didn't really give Lawani a clean space to land in after he grabbed the rebound. Cooper throws it out of bounds. Xavier Cooper just checked back in. He was on the bench for a while after picking up his 3rd foul. And he turns it over. 7th turnover committed by Trinity. Justin Phillips drives. Phillips bounces to Darius Wright, blocked from behind by Cooper. Saints keep possession. Phillips down low to Fahey. Fahey is double teamed. Passes out of the double team, finds Phillips, who misses short on the 3-pointer. Cooper grabs the rebound and he's fouled coming down. And that's number 6 on St. Francis. E.J. Charles is called for his 3rd. And so both teams find themselves in foul trouble. Charles is the 2nd Saint with his 3rd foul, and both teams will be in the bonus the rest of the way. (61-57) Trinity International as Trojans wipe up a wet spot on the floor before continuing play. Trojans trailed 8-5. They went on a 13-0 run and have led ever since. This is as close as it's been since that big run. Lawani outside to Bloom. Bloom dishes to Brandon Lawani in the corner. He misses an open 3-pointer, but an offensive rebound for Cooper. Xavier Cooper, one bounce to the left hand, passes outside. Back to Cooper, who drives on Kreitz. Xavier Cooper all the way in, off the glass and in.
Xavier Cooper.
8 points for Cooper. Darius Wright tries from the outside, and he hits the three. Saints were just 3 of their first 17 from three-point range. They've made 2 of their last 3, and it's a one-possession game for the first time in a long time. Lawani for 3. He missed it. St. Francis could potentially tie the score on this possession. Drive Carter Fahey, a little bit too strong on the layup. Trinity carries it the other way. And it's turned over. Thomas got in a little bit too close to Lawani before dishing the pass. Phillips lays it in on the break. Justin Phillips has 7 points, and it's just a 1-point game, 63-62. Just over 11 minutes to play. St. Francis has outscored Trinity 23-11 this half. Here's Keontae Thomas. He's been quiet for a while, loses the ball, and it's picked up by Cooper. Lawani carries inside, blocked by E.J. Charles, out of bounds. 7 on the shot clock. It still belongs to the Trojans. But the Saints bench is fired up right now. They've turned a 15-point deficit into a 1-point game. Justin Phillips on the break here, cut it to 1. Playing Trinity's game a little bit. Forcing turnovers and turning those into points. The Trojans today have 7 steals. Top 5 in the nation, averaging over 11 steals per game. St. Francis has taken it away on a steal just twice, but some big plays here in the second half. Inbounded to Lawani. Lawani with 4 to shoot, gets into the paint, jump stop, up with a right hand, no good. Rebound poked around and back to Cooper. Trinity will try again. Downstairs to Asher Bloom, and Bloom lays it in on the alley-oop. Big play for Trinity off the offensive rebound. They slow down the St. Francis run a bit. Still a 1-possession game. Carter Fahey for the tie, way off, rebounded by Cooper. Xavier Cooper drives, dishes it off, and Carter Fahey is there for the takeaway. Saints on the break once again. Fahey slows it down. Good transition defense from Trinity. E.J. Charles for the tie, short on the three-pointer, rebounded by Lawani. They had a brief period of success from the outside, but by and large, Saints have struggled from three-point range today, just 23% as a team. They are 14 of 19, shooting from inside the three-point arc. Bloom lobs it down low for Lawani. Lawani working against Ben Kreitz, off the back rim, gets his own rebound and scores again. Second chance points for Trinity, and their lead is back to 5. Lawani's got 16 points. Second chance points were big for the Fighting Saints in the first half. Now the offensive rebounds are benefiting Trinity. Carter Fahey passes off to Ben Kreitz. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Phillips for 3. Off the mark. Rebound knocked around, and Darius Wright grabs it. Whistle blows. I think we've got a clock issue that'll allow the subs to come in. Diamond Presniakovas returns to the floor for Trinity with 4 fouls. Starters return for the Fighting Saints. Gerner checks in for Phillips. Big minutes for Justin Phillips here in the second half today. And Aitor Anabadarte is back out there. Lewis McGlasson gets his first action since halftime. Gerner finds McGlasson, who fakes, steps in, 2-point jumper, in and out. Rebound Cahoon. Trinity has regained their grasp on this game. Their lead was down to 1, but they've come up with some defensive stops. And thanks to offensive rebounds, they've scored on back-to-back possessions. Here's Keontae Thomas dishing it off to Diamond Presniakovis, and Presniakovis scores to make it a 7-point lead. 6 consecutive points for the Trojans. Nadav Gerner finds Aitor Anabararte on the wing. Up top, Darius Wright. Wright works against Presniakovis. Pull up from just inside the free throw line is good. That's where success has been all game for St. Francis, in the paint. Of their 64 points scored today, they've gotten 26 of them in the paint. A lot more on free throws, as a nice drive from Cooper results in the layup. Cooper is into double figures. Trinity again leads by 7. 45 of 64 points have come either in the paint or from the foul line, but those 3 come from the outside. Darius Wright knocks down the triple. 4-point game. Wright's got 18 points now. Cooper's pass deflected by Anabararte. He gets it back. Here's Presniakovis. Presniakovis turnaround with the right hand is good. Diamond Presniakovis, largely because of foul issues, has really not been a factor all game, but all of a sudden he pops in off the bench, and he's been huge these last few minutes for the Trojans. Back and forth we go here, 7 minutes to play. Darius Wright's heating up. He gives it off to Nadav Gerner, and Gerner travels. Sixteenth turnover, make that the 15th turnover for St. Francis. And Gerner checks out. Phillips has been hot here in the second half, so Ryan Marks decides to go back to him with the game tightening up here down the stretch. Keontae Thomas out to Kone. Jumper does not roll in. Took a nice bounce off the front of the rim, but ultimately did not fall. Here comes Phillips on the drive, kicked outside. Saints reset. Lewis McGlasson for 3. There it is for Lewis McGlasson. He has struggled with that shot all game, but he hits a big one here. The Saints have knocked down 2 straight threes. McGlasson has 6 points, and the lead for Trinity is back down to 1 possession. Thomas's pass is intercepted by Justin Phillips. 3-on-2 for the Saints. McGlasson takes it in, stripped by Cooper, out of bounds. It'll be the Saints basketball. 73-70. Another tight ball game here for St. Francis. Prior to Saturday's double-digit loss against St. Xavier, the last 4 games played in this building for the Saints have been decided on the final possession. Phillips bounces to Fahey. Anabararte fakes the 3, puts it on the floor, throws it up for grabs, and Phillips can't keep it alive. It's knocked out of bounds. Under 6 minutes to play. Keontae Thomas leads the offense for Trinity. Here's Cooper. Handed back to Thomas. Around a screen to his right. He picks up his dribble. Jack Cahoon had a big first half. Haven't heard from him much here in the second. This is Lawani. Layup is good. Reversing it underneath the basket. Good play by Brandon Lawani. 5-point lead, Trinity. Here's Justin Phillips bouncing down low to Anabararte. Aitor Anabararte, double teamed, gets it outside to Phillips. Phillips steps to the side, fires the 3, it's short. Rebound Lawani. And Trinity slows it down a bit here. Trojans have scored just 23 points in the second half after posting over 50 in the first half. Double-digit halftime lead shrunk down to 1, but they have not surrendered it yet. Lawani working against Fahey. Picks up the dribble and is able to find Cooper away from the hoop. 4 seconds to shoot. Back to Lawani. Lawani working against Wright. Up with the right hand. No good. Rebound knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Jack Cahoon. Saints ball. (75-70) with 4.5 minutes left. Trinity has not given up the lead for close to 35 minutes of game time. But the lead is just 5 right now. E.J. Charles back on the floor for the Fighting Saints. Carter Fahey's got just 7 to shoot. Fahey, pull-up jumper in the face of Lawani, no good. Rebound knocked around, and a foul, I believe, called against Trinity International. Justin Phillips was going for the loose ball and had his legs taken out from under him. Everybody was just going after the ball. Let's get another look at it. Yeah, Cooper dove at it, and he undercut Phillips. He was going for the ball. He wasn't looking to take out Justin Phillips there, so actually no foul called. Just out of bounds on Trinity. We haven't seen a foul called in a long time. Fouls were a huge storyline for the first half hour of this game, and now not at all. Both teams are in the bonus with under 4 minutes left. Presniakovas is playing with 4. Phillips drives on Presniakovas, kicks it outside to Fahey. Long 3. Fahey misses. Offensive rebound, Anabadarte. I think his arm was grabbed as he went up for that rebound, so he'll go to the line to shoot at least 1 free throw. And that's on Presniakovas, number 5 on him. So Presniakovas, who was held to just 20 minutes because of those foul issues today, scored 8 points, had a couple of big shots in the second half, but ultimately wasn't able to get into much of a groove. He's out with 8 points for the game. 1-1 for Anabadarte, and he makes the first. Aitor Anabadarte is 7 of 8 from the line today. Saints as a team 20 for 23. Free throws, maybe more than anything else, helped get them back into the game during times when they were struggling. 3-point game. Big offensive possession for Trinity as they try to make it a 2-score advantage. Cahoon is fouled by Charles, and that's the 4th on E.J. Charles. Trinity was just trying to move side to side on the weave up top there, but Charles reached in, and a potentially costly foul. It's number 4 on him, and it sends a good shooter to the line for a 1-and-1. Cahoon makes the front end. If it does come down to a battle of free throws, for the season, St. Francis has been much better from the line than Trinity has. Cahoon makes them both. Jack Cahoon actually is not a very good free throw shooter by percentage. He's a very good shooter overall, but for whatever reason from the line he's struggled. But 2 big ones right there. Cahoon's got 16 points. Charles lobs it into the post for Fahey, and Carter Fahey is called for an offensive foul. Tried to create a little separation from Brandon Lawani with a push-off, and the Saints turn it over. And now this has become a crucial defensive possession for St. Francis. With the clock running down to 3 minutes, they can't afford to go down by 7 or 8. Not with the efficiency that Trinity is able to score with. Cooper into Bloom. Asher Bloom backs in on Aitor Anabadarte. Shovels it outside. Lawani with the shot clock running down. Bounces inside for Cahoon, and it's taken away by Anabadarte. So the Saints get the stop they needed. And now can they cut it back to a one-possession deficit? E.J. Charles working down low. Charles rolls it in. Impressive move underneath the hoop from E.J. Charles. And it's now 77-74 with 2.5 minutes left. Timeout, St. Francis. They needed somebody to step up here, and E.J. Charles did just that. Good control, getting Cooper up in the air before laying it in. E.J. Charles has 16 points today. He's got 16 on just 5 field goal attempts. Darius Wright leads the Fighting Saints with 18, and Aitor Anabararte has scored 17 points today. Trinity International has led just about the whole way. We've seen games in this building this year, though, in which the team that was winning the whole way did not end up on top. Mentioned before, prior to Saturday's game, a loss to St. Xavier, Fighting Saints had 4 straight home games in which the decision wasn't made until the final seconds. Big game for both teams. In the conference standings, they each have 4 losses coming into play today. Trinity's only played 9 conference games so far this year. Most other teams have played either 11 or 12. So the Trojans will have some chances to make those up. They're even in the loss column, but St. Francis a game up overall on Trinity. So the Saints come back out onto the floor to play defense down by 3. They came up with a big stop on the last possession. If they can do it again, they'll get the ball back with a chance to tie the score. Still a lot of time left. Cahoon into Bloom. Bloom works against Darius Wright. A big size advantage for Bloom, but he gives it up to Lawani. Brandon Lawani spins and throws it outside in between a couple of teammates, but Cooper chases it down. Good pass from Cooper into Bloom. Bloom is turned away at the rim. 2 minutes to play. St. Francis has the ball, trailing by 3. Darius Wright on the break, lays it in. Nice setup from Justin Phillips. The Saints run the break perfectly, and once again they're within 1. They have cut the deficit to 1 a couple of times here in the second half. They've not been able to take the lead or even come up with a tie. We have not been tied at any point in this game, unless you count 0-0. Foul is called on Carter Fahey, well away from the ball. Number 9 on St. Francis means Trinity will get free throws here. This is the break that made it a 1-point game. Perfectly executed, 2 passes, and Darius Wright has 20 points now. 1-1 for Brandon Lawani. And he misses the front end. Rebound, Carter Fahey. The Fighting Saints can take their first lead since it was 8-7 here. Fahey off to Justin Phillips. Ten on the shot clock for Carter Fahey with his back to the basket. Fahey picked up by Bloom, works his way in, now double team. Fahey throws it outside, deflected by Cahoon and taken away. Cahoon working against Phillips, floats it off the glass and in. With a minute to play, Trinity's lead is back to 3. The Saints had a chance to take the lead. Instead, they turned it over. Now they'll look to tie or move within 1 point on a 2-pointer. Fahey up top to Charles. He finds Carter Fahey. Darius Wright for the tie. A little bit too strong. Offensive rebound, Aitor Anabararte. Anabararte works down low and lays it in. 32.7 on the clock. 79-78. Trinity International holds the lead. They do technically have the shot clock on for this next possession, but Trinity can hold on just about to the end if they want to. Huge second chance for Aitor Anabararte, who has 19 points and 9 rebounds in the game. 12 offensive rebounds for the Saints now and 11 second chance points. That's been a storyline for both teams throughout today's game. I was talking about the conference standings just a few moments ago and where these two teams rank. Both of them are in shouting range from the top. Roosevelt currently at the top of the CCAC at 10-1. And way back in the first week of the season, St. Francis took on Roosevelt and fell in the closing seconds by 2 points. A game that, who knew at the time how big it would be, but boy, they would love to have that win in their back pocket right now. The Saints did beat Olivet Nazarene earlier in the year. So this is a team that knows it can be competitive against every team in the conference. They're still in the top half right now, but this is the type of game right here that they need to win if they want to be a serious player for the top few spots in the CCAC this year. 79-78, Trinity leads. It's Trojans basketball. They have to go the length of the floor here. There's a lot of time on the clock for St. Francis to try to trap and create a turnover. This is Aitor Anabarte's offensive rebound and the putback that brought them to within one. So the Saints certainly don't need to foul. There aren't any good foul shooters on the floor right now for Trinity, so not necessarily a terrible idea to commit that foul if they can't get a quick steal, but with this much time left, they'll have plenty of opportunities to try to get the takeaway before being forced to send anybody to the line. As a timeout is called by Trinity. Trojans were having some trouble getting the ball in, so they'll try it again after the timeout. Saints only have one timeout left. That's only the third for Trinity, so they've still got 3 timeouts available to them. So they don't have to worry too much if they're in a situation like the one they were just in where they couldn't get the ball in bounds. Trojans led by as many as 15 in the first half. They've been up by as many as 14 points here in the second half. And they have not trailed since the score was 8-7. And that was 36 minutes ago as far as game time is concerned. So the Trojans have felt in control of this one the entire way. But as we come down to the wire, St. Francis is right in it. This is coming off of a made basket, so Cooper can run the baseline. He does. He inbounds it to Cahoon, poked away by Phillips, and last touched by St. Francis. Phillips says no hit off of Cahoon last, but the official's word means more than the St. Francis players' words on this call. So they'll do it again. This time Cooper cannot run the baseline, as the ball was knocked out of bounds, not coming off of a made shot. Cooper calls timeout. Second time in a row that St. Francis has forced Xavier Cooper to call timeout, with airtight defense not giving them any options to throw the ball into. 3 seconds did run off the clock prior to Phillips knocking the ball away from Cahoon on that last play. So the game clock's at 29.3. Shot clock at 27 right now. Again, even though there is technically a shot clock still on right now, Trinity can run it just about all the way down if they want to. So if St. Francis doesn't get the takeaway, they are going to have to foul at some point if they want to keep this game going. Trinity as a team this year, just 63% from the line. They're 10 for 14 today, and among the players we see on the floor down the stretch here, Keontae Thomas is a 67% shooter, Brandon Lawani just 62%. Jack Cahoon is just a 59% foul shooter, even though he is the #1 3-point shooter on the team. That hasn't carried over to his foul shooting. And Asher Bloom is just 63%. Cooper's at 62%. So everybody is pretty much the same. Everybody's right there between 58 and 63%. Justin Phillips sparked the rally with some good defense and some big shots. Phillips has 7 points for the Fighting Saints today. He knocked the ball away on the last play for Trinity. but last touched by the Saints. So the Trojans get to inbound it again. Cooper is able to get it into Jaden Thomas, who fires across half court. Down low, Lawani. Lawani goes up with a shot, no good. Rebounded by E.J. Charles. So the Saints have a chance to win it right here. The shot clock is off. No timeout called by Ryan Marks. They'll run the offense. Darius Wright fires the three. Short, offensive rebound. Fahey knocked out of his hands. He gets it back, fighting for the loose ball. And we've got a tie up here. The possession arrow favors Trinity. With 5 seconds left, the Trojans can inbound it here from underneath their own basket and try to run out the clock. Crazy sequence right there. Trinity, rather than running out the clock on their last possession, decided to go to the rim. Brandon Lawani thought he had a good shot, but he was not able to finish it. And so St. Francis had the ball with 20 seconds left and a chance to win the game. They missed the three-pointer and not fight for the rebound. Ryan Marks wanted to get a timeout with Carter Fahey in possession. It was hard to see if Fahey ever was fully in possession of the ball, or if it was shared possession the entire way on that play. Darius Wright ended up taking the three with 11 seconds left. This is about how you want it to go. You don't want to hold on for the final shot. Always give yourself a chance for an offensive rebound, especially as that has been a big factor in this game for St. Francis. They've got 13 offensive rebounds. And Fahey did go for that rebound, but he got the rebound, but lost it. Again, Ryan Marks tried to get a timeout called while Fahey had the ball, but it was really hard to tell if he had it. He did have it to start, but did he still have full possession of it when the Saints tried to get that timeout called? So it'll be Trinity International possession with 4.9 showing on the clock. The Trojans still do have one timeout left, but they've had a lot of trouble inbounding it in key moments here down the stretch. They have twice had to call timeouts to avoid 5-second calls. Again, one timeout left, so they could do that again if Cooper's having trouble. The Saints are going to have to foul right away here, and they do. I was just about to say, if the Saints can't get the steal in the inbounds play, there's no time to lose. This time they had to foul immediately. They did, and they'll send Keontae Thomas to the line on the other end. That is the 10th team foul, which means Thomas will get 2 shots, make or miss. 3.8 seconds left. Keontae Thomas is a 67% foul shooter. Today he's gone 4 of 6 from the line to match his season average almost exactly. And regardless of what happens from the line here, it will be a one-possession game after these 2 shots. He makes the first. One more shot for Thomas. Saints do have one timeout left. Second shot. Rims out. Offensive rebound, Cooper. And he's fouled with 3.6 on the clock. No, an offensive foul on Trinity. And that'll send the Saints to the line on the other end. So now St. Francis has 2 free throws to try to tie the score. I didn't see who it was who was fouled. Is it Annabeth Arte that's going to the line here? Yes. And that's St. Francis's best free throw shooter. 8 for 9 from the line today, 80% on the season. A shocker there. Trinity was a rebound away from essentially ending the game. They got the rebound, but a foul was called against Trinity in order to bring it in. Brandon Lawani called for his 4th. So Anabadarte needs to hit them both to potentially force overtime here. The first one, obviously big, but it is still a 1-1 here, so he needs to make it to even have a chance at the second. He missed the first. Charles grabs the rebound, back up, blocked from behind, and Trinity grabs the rebound to seal this win up 80-78. So many opportunities for both teams down the stretch.